One of our leading stories, thousands of jobs in the clothing industry may have been saved after the KwaZulu-Natal High Court ruling earlier today that hundreds of small factories don't have to form part of the Industry Bargaining Council. Well, let's hear now from the employers and to discuss what this really means for them and their core business. We're live in Durban, and the chairperson of the United Clothing and Textile Association, Ahmed Paruk, is standing by to talk to us. Mr. Paruk, good evening to you and welcome. How big a victory is this for the smaller factory owners? Mr. Paruk, it's Jeremy Maggs in Johannesburg. Are you hearing me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you
right.
clearly.
My question to you, how big a victory, sir, is this, in your opinion, for small factory owners?
This is the landmark victory for the clothing sector, especially in KZN. We were total 17,000 workforce should have been out of work. Now we have saved that with this court decision this morning. And we have saved 450 factories, all our UTCA members, and this will give our smaller factories to create more jobs in the clothing sector.
Well, that's according to you, but there are no checks and balances. You don't have to pay minimum wage. What's to stop small factory owners now from exploiting the workforce?
I agree with you, there is no checks and balances, but we were all along saying to the National Bargaining Council with the minister, come round to the table and we will talk. Because we were non-compliant, they treated us like dirt.
Again, my question to you, though, is that this does open the way, does it not, for you to do what you want with your workforce? Where are the checks and balances?
There will be check and balances if the minister applied a mind and brought all the role players to the table.
But as we stand right now, there are no checks and balances, are there?
If you can have the checks and balances if you have an entry level of wages.
So small factory owners are also claiming that thousands of new jobs could be created. Explain the mathematics behind that to me, Mr. Paruk.
With this landmark judgment, we will be able to create the smaller factories where they're employing 15 and 20 workers. Now they'll be able to create another 20, 30 extra jobs. In a year's time, we'll be able to create 40,000 new jobs in the clothing industry. 10 years ago, we had 200,000 workforce. Today, we have dwindled down to 56,000 work in the clothing sector. We'll be able to create extra work in the clothing manufacturing sector. And we'll give the chain stores a quicker turnaround instead of them importing the merchandise from China, Bangladesh, and India.
Well, that's a very optimistic point of view. There is a debate, given these cheap imports that are coming into the country, that this country actually cannot afford to economically sustain a clothing industry going forward.
If that is the case, then why at your doorstep in Lesotho, when the bulk of our suppliers are giving their work to Lesotho for 800 rands a month?
It still stands that they are making clothing a lot cheaper than you can do, aren't they?
It's the same. If they can do it in Lesotho, we can use the same scenario in South Africa. Why send our work from South Africa to Lesotho, neighboring countries, when we can do it in our own country?
But again, it's also about the cost of labor, which is a whole lot cheaper across the border, isn't it?
We can sustain the same labor force in South Africa when we come with an entry level of wages. That's what we are saying.
Are you confident that you can guarantee the long-term survival of the industry?
101%. We proved it in our court papers that we'll be able to sustain this clothing sector, and we'll be able to compete with anybody else in the world, and we will give the chain stores a quicker turnaround.
You are surely, as a result, Mr. Paruk, of this High Court decision today, you're now on a collision course with the organised labour, with the unions. I mean, they can't be happy with this.
If they have got recourses to take it on appeal, the recourses are always there. But if they only listen to us from 2010, when we gave them an olive branch, let's talk to us, and we will be able to. We shouldn't have even spent over 2 million rands in court case when we could have solved this matter without even going to court.
Are you expecting the unions to take this on appeal?
Yes, obviously. Bargaining Council will be out of a job just now because all our members is not going to pay the fees to beside the Provident Fund, all the other fees we are not going to pay. We want to tell our members not to pay that.
So it's a little early for you to start celebrating, surely?
I beg yours, I didn't get that.
It's a little early then for you to start celebrating this court decision.
They can challenge us, they can take it on appeal, they can do whatever they want. But the mere fact is we will be able to sustain this industry and create work.
All right, thank you very much indeed for the view. Ahmed Paruk from the United Clothing and Textile Association talking to us from Durban.